For two different reasons, we need to talk about this new video that's finally been released from inside Robb Elementary in Uvalde, which the Austin American-Statesman has now released. Now, before I dive into this, I do want to say, even though I'm not going to show any graphic or violent content, if for whatever reason you want to skip this is part of the reason I include time codes. The timestamps are both in the description as well as if you hover over the timeline. With that said, this starts with the shooter crashing his truck near the school, as you can see, with two men approaching, then running away. Next, you can hear an unidentified teacher on the phone with 911 screaming that the kids are running and then yelling at them to get in their classrooms. After that, you have the cell phone video showing the shooter entering the school and walking off frame, with a child leaving a bathroom to return to class, turning the corner and quickly retreating as the shooter fires. And that's when he enters the first classroom and the massacre begins. We also now know that he fired more than 100 rounds in about 2.5 minutes. And with this, about 3 minutes into the shooting, you see the first officers arrive on the scene, with some rushing toward the gunman, others peering around the corner. And gunshots continue to boom throughout the hall, with the officers who ran toward the shooter now retreating back to the entrance. And there they waited for almost the next 74 minutes in that hallway, even as they heard at least 4 more gunshots inside the classroom 45 minutes after arriving. At which point, around a dozen officers move toward the classroom, with one heard saying they're making entry, but nobody actually goes inside. You also have many people angry about how casual some of them appear to be. 9 minutes later, you see one officer in a ballistic vest pausing to squirt hand sanitizer on his hands. At one point, you can see an officer on his phone, then you can see 2 officers in camouflage fist bump each other. Meanwhile, this whole time, they're waiting for keys to the classrooms, which we now know they didn't even need because the doors were unlocked. Plus, an officer soon arrives with a sledgehammer, and of course, as we know, they eventually do engage the shooter and kill him. Though currently, we are still waiting on an analysis by a medical expert to determine how many victims died after police arrived. And as for who is at fault for this response, a lot of the blame has been directed towards School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo. We also have others noting that there were numerous agencies on the scene there. This including the Uvalde Police Department, Uvalde County Sheriff's Department, Texas Department of Public Safety, Texas Rangers, U.S. Border Patrol, and U.S. Marshals Service. So we have all of that, but of course there's the second news story, which is around the Statesman's actual release of this video. Because in the wake of all of this, you have some victims' family members outraged that this was made public, especially before they could view it themselves.
It got leaked, it got shown all over the world, and we are pissed.
These were our babies that were taken from us. So to the person that leaked it, screw you. It's like reliving that day all over again.
With then the Uvalde mayor and town council members saying during a hearing yesterday,
The way that video was released today is one of the most chicken things I've ever seen. 2/3 of the family, or part of their families, are in Washington, D.C. right now.
Yes, sir.
And they're gonna have to turn on the TV and see that tonight, not even with the rest of their family. This was wrong to do it this way. The video needed to be released, but the family should have got to see it first.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
The mayor said chicken, it was chicken
Yeah.
to release that video the way you did it. They did that for ratings and they did that for money.
but at the same time, you do have some victims' relatives expressing support for the release, like one telling a CBS affiliate, "I'm happy it's released, but I wish they would have waited until the family members got to see it beforehand." Right, and regarding that, a state Senate panel had actually originally planned to show the video to families on Sunday. And as far as what the Statesman has to say for itself, they said, "Our goal is to continue to bring to light what happened at Robb Elementary, which the families and friends of the Uvalde victims have long been asking for. We have to bear witness to history, and transparency and unrelenting reporting is a way to bring change." But one thing many people on both sides of this issue do seem to have in common is outrage towards the police response. You've got the likes of podcaster Ethan Klein criticizing the officer who appears to check his phone, saying he did that while the gunfire went off to the cries of children. Very bad. Another person saying a fist bump. Fist bump. I can only pray they still hear those babies' screams and see the carnage they ignored every single time they blinked. And Senator Chris Murphy adding, "The Uvalde video puts to bed forever the question of whether the way to deal with bad guys with guns is to make sure there are more good guys with guns. We've always known it was a gun industry created lie designed to sell more guns. Now we just have the gut-wrenching proof." And that is where this story ends, at least for now, because it seems like every couple of weeks we just find out even more unbelievable details about this shooting. It's just been absolutely crazy to watch the narrative move from hero cops take down shooter after tragic massacre to now cops with more than enough firepower and protection refuse to save kids from shooters, spend over an hour waiting for keys they don't even need, and fist bump and check their phone in the hallway. Oh yeah, and then lied about what happened afterward. But yeah, that is ultimately where we are. And of course, with this story, I have 2 questions. 1, what are your thoughts regarding the authorities here now that we have this video? And 2, what are your thoughts regarding the Statesman releasing this video the way they did? But as always, thank you for watching, subscribing, and thanks to our fantastic sponsors like Coinbase, and more specifically, Coinbase, DeFranco.com, for making these extra videos possible. If you're looking to get into crypto and or you just want like $42 for free, sign up now. It's a great service that I use, it's free, and you get $10 in Bitcoin just for signing up and $32 more in other crypto just for learning about them. You're welcome, and also thank you. Yeah, I love you faces, and I'll see you in the next video.